welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really wonderful today. I tried to film this video twice yesterday and failed. First time I lost some footage, and the second time I just didn't enjoy the flow of the video, so I never edited it. I just kind of completely scrapped it and decided to do it today. So I'm going to be talking to you about books I'm reading, currently reading, have already read but may read again, and some of the books that are on my reading list to get through, and also to show you what I'm reading or listening to on Audible as well. I am just on my lunch break. I've just taken Echo out with Gary, and my hair is looking wild. Anyway, so apologies for that. Hopefully the lighting's not too bad. I have a few books within my collection, and also a load of books on my Kindle as well, so I'll just kind of walk you through them. I'm not a literacy expert by any stretch of the imagination, so I'm really sorry if the words that I use aren't as articulate as you're used to when it comes to book reviews. I just know what I like to read, and I just thought I'd share that with you. So hopefully it's more interesting, gives you a few ideas of books to maybe read. I have a variety of books within my house. I really wish we had a bookshelf. That's one thing that when we move house, I think is what I want. I'd love to have a big bookshelf that covers like an entire wall from like floor to ceiling, and I can just put all my novels in there. Yeah, I have a variety of books I just enjoy delving into. So let's just get started. So some of the ones that are more learning based and that I've really enjoyed getting into, to be honest, I have, for my work, I think I like books that really help broaden the mind, and a lot of reading obviously essentially helps you to do that, but I do love practical based books that can really expand your knowledge on a certain area. And as I work in social media, and one of my cool goals within my career is to obviously drive that, but also become a leader within that space. So that's really important to me. So one of the books I do have is called Dare to Lead by Browne, and this focuses on having tough conversations as a leader, being vulnerable. There's like a really key element within this of how vulnerability enables you to perform better as a leader, and also drive a better culture within your organisation. I found this really insightful. I'm still reading through this, but what I have read so far is spectacular, and I think Browne is just an amazing person. I think her knowledge expands so vastly, and it's just incredible what she has to say. Yeah, I'm really enjoying reading this. It's actually an easy read, which a lot of books like this, you don't think in a specific way. It's sometimes really hard to follow, but I do find that her writing is very seamless, and I think there's a lot of practical knowledge within this that you can just take really key takeaways from it. I'm just enjoying going through this, and I pick this up sporadically. I'm not a person that will just read this and go on to the next. Like, I pick it up when I'm in need of inspiration, or I feel like I want to learn something new. I tend to pick up this book, and that's how I'm enjoying it at the moment. But I know a lot of people would read this cover to cover and just take all of that insightful information, but I'm not that way. I actually prefer fantasy books that will take me away somewhere, but this is really good so far. So I will let you know in further detail. I'll write a whole blog post on this, just my overall thoughts, but my manager actually bought me this, and it's actually a really insightful read. Another business style, more practical book, I would say, is Unfuck Your Finances by Melissa Browne. I think maybe I just like authors with the surname Browne. Actually, this is an amazing book, and I'm going through this at the moment. This is a book all about a 30-day financial detox, but how to manage your money, understand your finances. There's a lot of really great tips in here of how to be better with money and improve your relationship with money. So I think it's really exceptionally written, and I love, there's a lot of kind of analogies within this where you can resonate with a lot of what she says, and I think it's incredible. And I love the fact that she's actually a financial advisor, so she knows what she's talking about, and it's really good, and I actually love the title, which is why I bought it in the first place. So I am going to do this, and I am going to do the 30-day detox, which I will be doing a whole video about, to see how that experience is for me and how much I ended up saving. Yeah, because I love to spend money in shops like ASOS. So hopefully doing a 30-day detox will help me set proper goals with saving money, because our ambition is to obviously buy a big house so I can have that big old bookshelf, right? So there we go. I will pop everything in the description below of the books that I've mentioned, just so you are aware. The next one, which I actually pick up frequently, and I've got tabs in this is actually the Lonely Planet's Best New York City Top Sites book. I obviously was meant to go to New York last year, and in celebration of my 30th, didn't get to go because of COVID, still haven't been able to book it, but I love New York so much, and I tabbed a load of sites that I'd like to see, and to be honest, I'm really sad, and I do pick this up every now and again and flick through it, but it's a brilliant book, and I'm sure there's a more updated one now. I just added this one in there because I actually love travel books. I think it's beautiful to learn more about a city or a country that you're visiting, and all the top spots that you may not have known about. They're great. More on to the fictional books now. These are books that I actually prefer. I just like to get lost in the pages of books. I love novels that just make you feel like the character or feel like part of the story. That's what I love. There we are. So one of the books, you all know this story, but this is actually one of my favourite books, and this has probably been to more countries with me than any other novel I've ever purchased, and that's Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. It's actually the only reason I wanted to bring this in is because it is actually one of my favourite books. I love the story, and I love the era, and I love that period drama style novel, and yeah, and I love the writing. It's just so different in terms of what you'll read now, and I think the innocence of it, but also the scandals as well. I just think it's really cool. But I do really love this, and I love the TV series, and I also love the film, because I just love that romance period drama style novel. But yeah, English literature at its finest, I think. The trilogy that I'm reading is a trilogy by Deborah Harkness, and it's A Discovery of Witches. These are some of my favourite fantasy novels that I've ever read, and I love the TV series as well. I've already binge watched season 2, and I've decided to reread these books. The actually one I haven't read is Shadow of Night. So I'm up to date with the TV series, but I haven't actually read the 3rd book within this trilogy yet. It's on my list, but I'm currently reading other things. But I actually want to restart these. A Discovery of Witches is my favourite book so far, I think, within the trilogy. Obviously I haven't read the 3rd one, but between this and A Book of Life, I actually prefer the 1st book. Both are brilliant, equally brilliant, and what I think I love about the books is that they take you on a different journey. Although they cover a lot within the TV series, there's a lot of good nuggets within the books that you didn't know about, or that they've missed slightly, and it's not a crucial miss, but I do think it expands on the story a lot more. I just love it, and I really love how this is written, and it flows really well. It's one of the books that you just find really difficult to put down, and it's all about this forbidden love between two creatures, and a witch and a vampire, and it's just so beautiful that you kind of lose yourself within the pages a lot. And I love the characters, and I also love the characters within the TV series, because Teresa Palmer is one of my favourite actresses. I just love her so much. And yeah, I think they chose well with choosing her to be Diana, because when you read the book you kind of see her face. It's really enchanting and just a wonderful, wonderful read. A Book of Life, equally as good, to be honest. I just prefer the 1st book, because I think the first of any amazing series, that's what sets the scene, right? That's what tells the story, that's what introduces you to the characters. This is just obviously a really good follow-on, and again, really well written and so cleverly written. The way that it takes you back, I don't want to spoil it too much or spoil the TV series if you only just want to watch the TV series, but yeah, you kind of go back into time with A Book of Life and or the book of life, should I say. And yeah, it's really, really, really good. Highly recommend the trilogy, and I'm very excited to get on to book 3. I think I will just start again and just plough through them all together. But yeah, there's those. I've just recently read, actually, not too long ago, is Troubled Blood by Robert Galbraith, also aka J.K. Rowling, which I didn't know, but one of you wonderful people told me on YouTube that actually Robert Galbraith is actually J.K. Rowling, and I didn't know that it was a pseudonym for her. I read this one. This is the 5th book in this collection, and I didn't realise that there was 4 other novels prior to this because I didn't do the research, and I just found this on the shelf in Tesco, and I just loved the look of the cover, so I just picked it up, and I loved how big it was, and I was looking for a new book to read. And yes, I read this, and it took me about 2 weeks to read. This flows so well, I just didn't want to put it down. And as soon as I started, I knew it was going to be a great novel, and I love the fact that it's... I love crime novels. I just like crime stories. You'll know that by the list that's on my Kindle. But I do like crime novels. I like crime series. It's what I enjoy watching and reading. But what I liked about this is that you follow this private detective called Cameron Strike and his sidekick Robin, and you kind of go on a journey with them, not only their work relationship, but you kind of delve into their individual lives as well, but then watch as they intertwine, their stories intertwine, but also how they solve these crimes and how cleverly J.K. Rowling, Robert Galbraith, has written this book. It's just brilliant. There's just pure brilliance constantly, page after page, and there isn't a chapter in here that I thought, oh, I don't want to read that, or that was a bit shit. Actually, it's great all the way through. So if you're looking for a new crime novel, highly recommend this book, but go and read the first few books first. And on that note, let me tell you, so because I read the 5th book first, I feel like I spoilt it for myself, because there's a lot of things in the 5th book that obviously takes you, it expands on things from the first few books, which I didn't realise. So when it comes to finding out about those in the first few books, it's not a surprise, which really spoils it for me, I think, a little bit, but it's fine. So I've read Cuckoo's Calling, which is the first book within the Strike novel collection, and that's all about a model who they thought committed suicide, but actually it was a murder, and you watch Strike in his early days of being a private detective trying to solve this case, and you get introduced to Robin for the first time, and that relationship starts to kind of expand as his sidekick and partner in crime, and it's a really great first book into this crime series. And then it goes on to the Silkworm, which is book 2, and this one I actually found a little bit harder to get into. There was elements of it that I just thought, no, it's a bit boring. Unfortunately, that was just my personal opinion, but I found that the storyline, the plot line of the book is great. I think it's really good. It's about this author who goes missing, and they later find him murdered, and he's been murdered in the way that is representative of what he's written in a novel that was very taboo. So it's a great actual storyline, but I think there's some chapters within there that I just couldn't wait to get through. I just didn't find it insightful, or didn't really understand the purpose of it. And then the 3rd book is A Career of Evil, which I'm currently reading at the moment. I'm only 2 chapters in, so I haven't yet really found out what's going on with that, but at the moment, so far within that book, it's about someone is stalking Cameron and Robin, or Strike and Robin, and they've just had a leg sent to them in the post. That's kind of where I'm up to with that one. I don't know what's going to happen, how it's going to end, and I don't know who anything is. And then the 4th book within that is Lethal White, which I don't know what that's about, and I haven't really read much about that. This is Gary's mum's old Kindle, bless her, and this is amazing. This is, yeah, I was going to buy all the physical books, but to be honest, I don't really have anywhere to store them, so Kindle is an amazing thing when you don't have lots of room to put loads of books. So also on my Kindle, I've got a book called Harley Merlin and the Secret Coven by Bella Forrest, and this book actually was recommended to me by a fellow Harry Potter lover, and they said that this book is more like, it's more magical but for an older generation. So I'm excited to read that one. I haven't started, so that's on my reading list. I have a book called Everything I Know About Love, which actually was recommended to me by a woman I used to work with, Catherine, and it's by an author called Dolly Alderton, and I don't know whether that's a fictional book or a non-fiction book, but I was told it was a great read, so I downloaded it. I have all of the Bridgerton novels, so there's 8 books within that collection. If you haven't watched Bridgerton on Netflix, go and watch it if you like period dramas like I do. If you're a Pride and Prejudice, Gossip Girl fan, those are just kind of like had a baby and Bridgerton came out of it. Brilliant series, so I'm excited to get into the books, but I'm holding off from reading any of them because I still have other books I need to get through. One of the classics on my Kindle, which I will always keep, is Goodnight, Mr. Tom by Michelle Magorian. That's actually my favourite book of all time. So as soon as I got the Kindle, I bought it immediately. I just love that story, and if you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. It's actually more of a book that I read when I was in primary school, amazingly, because I was an avid reader when I was in school, so I was on library books before I knew it. But it's such a beautiful, heartwarming, heartbreaking book during the war. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it as a easy read, but honestly I cry every time I've read that book. I also have a load of James Patterson books, which actually were Gary's mum's, but I love James Patterson. I like all the Alex Cross novels, and a lot of these are Alex Cross, so brilliant. I've got some erotica novels, which is Calendar Girl, and by Audrey Carlan. And these were Gary's mum's as well, but I've read it, I think 6 months, like 6 books out of this collection, and they're a bit saucy, but they are a really erotic, sexy read, but a decent storyline as well. There's some Danielle Steele books like Prodigal Son, The Apartment, Precious Gifts, Blue. These are all Gary's mum's, so they are on my reading list because I know her books are meant to be amazing, so I will read a load of them. And then I have John Grisham's books. I've got Time to Kill and A Painted House on here, which I really want to read. So that's currently what's on my Kindle, what's on my to-read list. And then when it comes to Audible, I have only a few books now on my Audible. So I don't know what's happened to some of them, because I had all of the Harry Potters and now I don't know where they're gone. So I have Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, that's read by Rosamund Pike. I haven't listened to that one yet. I have Pride and Prejudice, again, audible version, which I have listened to, which is great, read by Rosamund Pike, who played Jane in the film with, why do I forget her name always? Keira Knightley. So she played Elizabeth, Rosamund Pike played Jane. I've got 3 Harry Potter books, which is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets and The Deathly Hallows. Don't ask me why I have 3 very separate, far apart books. Obviously you've got Harry Potter, Philosopher's Stone and Chamber of Secrets, which is 1 and 2, but then you've got book 7. I don't know, I can't remember. They've been on here a while. And then I've got Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, because I loved the film and I've never read the book, and I didn't want to buy the book, but now I kind of wish that I did. But I have the Audible, which I actually really like listening to Audible when I can't sleep, because I find that it's really relaxing listening to people read to me. But yeah, that's currently what I've got. That is my Audible, and that's the books I'm currently reading, going to read. We'll be creating a whole new wish list, and I probably will be doing a book review style video or a book update video every month, so I will keep you updated with that. But yeah, that is where I'm up to so far. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and join my little YouTube family. Have a wonderful day everybody, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!